In today's video, I'm going to share with you a realistic week of my live trading. I'm going to share with you my full trading process from the strategy that I use to the setups that I take to how I find the opportunities that I'm looking for every single day, along with my entries and exits. I'm going to take you along showing you my wins, my losses, so you guys can learn exactly what I'm looking for and apply it to your own trading. So with that being said, let's not waste any time and let's get straight into the video. Okay, so as you can see right here, I have my trading statistics pulled up for the month of July. So far, the month is not quite over as of yet. I've made around $37,000 with a 45% win rate, profit factor 3.25, day win percentage 75%, along with my average risk to reward ratio being close to a 1 to 4. As you can see right here, this is my P&L graph for the month so far. If you scroll down into the calendar, first week I made $8,000. Second week, I made around $7,000. I was in a drawdown close to $10,000, but ended off the week green with a nice few solid setups. And as you can see for week number 3, I am up $21,000. So in today's video, what I want to show you guys is a full week's worth of live trading. I'm going to show you guys my exact strategy that I used. I'm going to show you the setups that I took. And of course, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you guys a live trading example with my P&L, along with my full thought process, entries, exits, my emotions while in the trade to show you guys exactly what I'm looking for in real time. So hopefully you guys are able to learn something from this video and apply it to your own trading. So let's first talk about my strategy and my system that I use every single day. And what I'm looking for every single day is continuation in the markets. So I'm looking for a clear trend to be put in, which means we're making higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and we're having this continue push towards the upside. And all I'm looking for is this previous level of resistance to turn into support for this continuation higher. So essentially what we're looking for is the break, and then we're looking for the retest, and then we're looking for this continuation higher towards the upside. So this is the basic premise of the strategy. It's not always going to be like this 100%. That's why I'm going to show you some real examples later. And within the strategy, what I have is setups. So I have some setups within the break and retest in itself. The 3 primary setups that I use is number 1, previous day highs and previous day lows. These are going to be the key areas that we'll be looking for. Number 2, what we have is our opening range break and retest. This can be done on the 1, 5, or 15-minute time frame. And then finally, what I have here is one of my favorites as well, which is the order block retest. So these are the 3 primary setups that I use on a consistent basis, and these setups fall underneath the overall system, which is the break and retest in itself. So now with understanding the basics of the setups and systems, let's go back onto my trading statistics and see the trades that I took in real time. Okay, so we're back on my trading statistics here. I made $21,000 this week with a 65% win rate, 7.2 profit factor, 100% day win percentage, along with a 4.33 risk to reward ratio. Let's go on to day number 1. Okay, so on my first example here, Palantir, Monday, July the 14th, end up losing close to $1,600 on this name. Traded 20 contracts. I end up losing around 27% on the contracts. My stop loss on the actual contracts was 2.4. My trade risk was $880, but I ended up losing $1,600. So my realized R multiple was negative 1.77 R. So I ended up losing a little bit more than I wanted to in this case, almost double the amount. As for the actual setup in itself was the 15-minute break and retest for a potential push up and towards our all-time highs. So as you can see, this is what it looks like here on TradingView. End up entering here, which wasn't the greatest entry as you can see. What I was looking for in this case, if we zoom out just a little bit, was the break above our last week's highs for a potential push up in towards our all-time highs, which is our 148. So I was looking for essentially Palantir continuation up in towards our 148.20. So I ended up taking a loss on this trade. Second trade that I took on Monday was on Tesla, negative $950. 20 contracts traded, around 9% loss with a stop loss of 4.8 with a trade risk amount of 1,072, and my realized R multiple in this case was negative 0.9 R. The setup that I was looking for in this case was our previous day high break and retest. So as you can see, this is what it looks like here on TradingView. What I was looking for in this case was our previous day high retest, which was low risk. So as you can see here on Tesla, what I was looking for was our previous day high retest for a potential move back towards the upside. We ended up gapping up over the weekend. So it came down in towards my low risk level, which was our previous day highs. As you can see in this case, it was relatively weak and it was in a clear downtrend. So I anticipated the potential buyers to step in off of your previous day highs, but it ultimately didn't move up with the market and it just ended up being a quick stop. Okay, so for my final trade that I took on Palantir, this was the 84% roll and I like the context a lot better. In this case, I made around $8,000, 80 contracts traded in this case. My trade risk was $1,400. Realized our multiple 2.3R and the setup that I took was the 84% rule. So if you go back into the trading view chart, once we ended up reclaiming back above our 145.15, I look for the 84% rule, end up scaling up nicely in towards this key level. I really wanted our all-time highs 148. I end up getting stopped out the remaining of my position once it came back down in towards this 145 level. A little bit unfortunate because later into the session, it did eventually hit our all-time highs. So on this day, end up being only up $500, took two losers, one trade that brought me up a little bit green. I would consider this day break even. I was only up $500. I couldn't really get a good grip on overall what the market wanted to do. Now let's go on to day number 2. Okay, so now we're on Tuesday. First trade that I ended up taking was on Nvidia. Ended up losing $800 on this one, traded 40 contracts for a net ROI of negative 9%. In this case, my stop loss was $2 on the contracts, ended up risking closer to $1,100 that I wanted to. So it was a negative 0.78R. In this case, the setup that I was looking for was our 1 minute high reclaim for a potential push up and towards our all-time highs. If we're looking at the Nvidia setup here, what I was looking for was the break above our 1 minute opening range for a potential push up and towards our pre-market highs. The reason why I was looking for this setup is because we end up gapping up on news on Tuesday. This was very bullish on Nvidia, so I was looking for that first continued push up and towards your pre-market highs. Never ended up gravitating there, so I immediately stopped out. The second trade here was on AMD. I took this trade the same time I took the Nvidia one, ended up making $2,500, 40 contracts traded, net ROI of 21%. In this case, my stop loss was 2.5 on the contracts, ended up risking closer to $1,600, so only ended up being a 1.56R multiple. The setup in this case was our 1 minute order block for a continuation towards the highs as well. So as you can see on AMD, really strong push right off the bat. We're above our pre-market high, showing a little bit more strength than Nvidia. First dip got bought up. You can see down close candle order block. This is where I get in, stop just a break below, and I'm looking for a continuation towards the upside. End up scaling closer to this 158.94, which was our gap level on the daily time frame. If we zoom out just a little bit, you can see here as well, AMD ended up having this really big gap up in the overall market with that Nvidia news. So that's why we're looking for a continuation on the semis right off the bat. So on this day, I ended up taking one win on AMD, one loss on Nvidia. Another day where I didn't really get a good footing on the overall market. There wasn't too much opportunity. So now let's go on to the third day. So the third day is when I started to gain some nice opportunities in the market. We had core CPI on Tuesday. We had core PPI on Wednesday. So those major red folder news events are over. Now let's see if the market can start to trend. Okay, so we're on Wednesday. This is the only trade that I took. Tesla, the 317.5 calls, ended up making $5,000 on this one. 60 contracts traded. My risk in this case was 4.2 on the options contracts. Risk amount $1,700 for a realized R multiple of 3R. In this case, the setups I was looking for was the opening range break on the 5 minute, along with our 1 minute order block here as well. Unfortunate that the contracts didn't move that much, or this would have been a very nice day on Tesla. Okay, so as you can see, we're on the trading view chart. Tesla pushing right off the bat, came down, retested, had a really solid reaction off your pre-market high. Really strong push now above your 5 minute range. You can now see displacement here as well. Perfect hammer candle. Once that hammer candlestick formed, I got in on that candle right after with a stop just a break below, and I ended up looking for a push up and towards the 318.50 and potentially your previous day highs. So as I zoom out just a little bit here, you can see what I was looking for. Now the hold back above your 313.50, looking for a push back up and towards your 318 and potentially your previous day highs. Never quite got to the previous day highs in the time that I wanted to, and I'm stopping out the rest of my contracts, but ended up being a super solid trade right off that 5 minute range along with our 1 minute order block for that continued push towards the upside. Now let's go on to Thursday. Thursday, we end up trading Nvidia, the 172.5 calls, end up making $3,600 on this name. 60 contracts traded, ended up being one of my smaller position sizes, but this was honestly the best opportunity that we had. Ended up making over 53% on the contracts. Stop loss in this case was 93 cents. Trade risk $1,200 for a realized R multiple of 3.06R. In this case, the setup that I was looking for was the previous day high reclaim. So as you can see, this is what Nvidia looks like. Right off the bat, we tried holding your previous day highs, broke underneath it. So now what we're looking for is the reclaim back above. Once we're able to reclaim reclaim back above your 171.75. And then I was looking for high of day plus continuation back up and towards your pre-market highs. Just to give us a little bit more context, as you can see, we're very bullish on Nvidia. This is the day where we end up gapping up. And then on this day, we're looking for continuation towards the upside once again, because the higher time frame is bullish. We're creating higher lows in the markets, and we can expect Nvidia to gravitate back up and towards the upside. Now let's go on to the final day. All right, the final day that I have here is Tesla, Friday the 18th. I ended up making close to $10,000 on this name. 60 contracts traded for adjusted cost around $14,000. Stop loss in this case was a little bit wider because it was on 0-day contracts. I ended up risking closer to $3,000 for this trade. Realize our multiple 3.42. The setup in this case was our previous day high retest. So as you can see here for Tesla, ended up breaking above our key levels along with their previous day highs coming to market open. This is where I look to get in on this 1 minute down close candle. Stop is going to be a break underneath our high that we created on Wednesday. It closed below. You can see maintained above this key level. And then I was looking for this continued push back towards the upside. You can see that the buyers end up stepping in exactly right off our key level, which was our 323. Maintained above our 323. So I maintained my position. And I was looking for this continued push back towards the upside here on Tesla. And just to give us a little bit more context, if I zoom out on the chart, you can see exactly what I was looking for. Break above your Monday's highs, Wednesday's highs, along with their Thursday's highs. Once we were able to break above that level, we were looking for this continued push back towards the upside. So in this case, we're essentially looking for your previous day high retest for this continued push higher. So with that being said, I went over all the trades that I took for this week, along with the setups that I took as well. So now let's go on to one of the live sessions that I recorded to know exactly what I was looking for with my P&L, my entries, my exits, my exact thought process on what I was looking for on Nvidia. As you can see right here for Nvidia, this one is reclaiming back above your previous day highs. I am somewhat interested in this one. Now, if you can hold back above that 171.60s, currently you can see that the QQQ is back at high of day here as well. So what I'd like to see now, hold of your 1 minute range on the Qs. And then for SPY, I like to see this continue push back towards the upside here. As for Nvidia, if we can get that retest of that 171.60s, what I'll be interested in is continuation back up in towards your pre-market highs. That's going to be the key level that we're going to keep an eye out on. All right, let's keep an eye out on Nvidia here. This one's coming back down in towards your previous day highs. What I'd like to see now is the hold of this 171.60s. What I'd be interested in here is the 172.5 calls on Nvidia, the 172.5 calls on Nvidia here. What I'd like to see is buyers step in right off this key level. All right, Nvidia, I just took the 172.5 calls on Nvidia. I just took the 172.5 calls on this one. Stop is going to be break underneath your previous day highs. What I'm looking for now is a push back up in towards your all-time highs here, which is your pre-market high 172.80s on this one. What I like to see now is the hold above your 1 minute opening range here on the QQQ, 558.42 for a continuation higher. As for Nvidia, I'd just like to see it maintain above this previous day highs. All right, so you can see so far Q's pushing up nicely here. But I like to see Nvidia, let's see if we can get that nice pop above your high of day here. I like to see the momentum start kicking in here with the overall markets. Q's next level is going to be your pre-market high, 559.50. Nvidia, let's see if we can get that pop. Nice pop, nice pop. Up into this 172.40s. Look to take some off here. Q's popping up in towards this pre-market high as well. Looking to scale some here on this 172.60s. Next level pre-market high. We should see pre-market highs if we can get a strong candle close here. Nvidia next level is going to be your pre-market highs. This is your all-time highs on this name. I'm going to look to scale some of it to this 172.80s. All right, scaling some here. Nvidia, nice pop here with the Qs at pre-market high. Scale some into this pre-market high here on Nvidia. Beautiful pop here on this name. I'm looking to take off majority of my position here along with the QQQ right at your key levels. As you can see, we're right at your 173.20s. This is your pre-market high. This is your all-time highs here on Nvidia. Q's at a very key level here as well. Beautiful trade, beautiful. I just have a remaining position now. Just gonna look for that next pop. See if that first dip gets bought up after hitting that all-time highs. Nice pop. Looking to scale some more here up into this 174. All right, I'm up majority of my position here on Nvidia, only holding 10 contracts now on this name. Yeah, as you can see, Nvidia now starting to slow down, breaking underneath this 172.86 with the QQQ. If it comes all the way back down and towards this 172.40, I'm most likely just going to cut the rest of my position. Yeah, for Nvidia, cut the rest of my position, breaking underneath this 172.80s here. Just wasn't able to hold above your pre-market highs and kind of dropping now here with the QQQ as well. So yeah, beautiful trade on Nvidia, straight up and towards your all-time highs after reclaiming your previous day highs. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, me going over my live session with my P&L as well. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more videos like this. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next week for a brand new video. Peace.